So this is stage 29, index finger part 6, and the pieces that we have, we start with A16 metal. I've got the index finger from previous issues, but it looks like I might not need it in this stage, but we've got it just in case. So that's going to go there. Now we have two pieces. I think they've already locked them together for storage, but this is C13, and I was almost about to say I can't tell the two apart because they look the same. Well, they don't. You've got these holes, but this is C13 because it tells us it is, and this is C12 again because it tells us it is. So that's those. So this is D06. This is, I keep saying this, the plastic, the quality of the plastic on this is real. It's real model quality, not toy quality. Right, we've got two washers that I still can't figure out what they are. If you've commented on previous videos as to what you think they are, whether they're metal, card, plastic, whatever, yeah, just bear in mind I'm filming 5 issues in one session. So I have read your comments, but obviously this has been filmed before you could make the comments. So next we have screws 2 times 2 plus 2. So that's 2 spare screws, and we're going to need 2 screws. And we have screws 1 times 2 plus 2. So 4 black screws. I think these are I can't remember. I think these might be metal screws. But there's 2 of those needed, and there will be 2 left over. So let's begin the build. So we have the pieces that came together that we've took apart. We now need to put those together, and they will be screwed together with the silver screws, which now confirms that these are plastic screws and these black ones are metal. And it's interesting that the plastic screws are bigger than the metal. You'd think the metal ones were bigger to hold things together. And I was going to magnetize this bit before we did the issue, but I forgot. I made the last issue, and then I made a cup of coffee, and then I come back and I forgot to magnetize. So, you know, it's my fault. I'm just going to have to struggle along, but that screw's going in. Once you get the screw in, it's fine. It's just the magnet is really handy for carrying it from, you know, when you move the screwdriver to the part, but that's fine. Again, I think this is overkill with the screws. For part this size, do you really need 2 screws? I think 1 would be sufficient, so kudos to the people who make this. That is not going anywhere ever. Right, so step 2, clever. So we need to put 2 washers in here, and you would think, oh, won't they fall out as you're maneuvering it? If you look, there's a little tiny notch there, right? And what's going to happen, you put your washer in, can you see it doesn't fall into place? It needs to be pushed in, which makes it very difficult to get in, but actually come in from the inside. That might do it. Do you know what, guys? It's not going in. It's going to go in so snugly I can't actually get it in. There we go. No. Right. Excuse me. Just wondering if it might be easier to pop it into the part first. Right, I'm just going to place that on there. I'm going to see how it goes. Right, so the next bit is we need to take this and we need to make sure this goes the correct way round. So this is going right. So if you look at the way that the bottom bit is, we're going to call that pointing to the right. So that wants to point into the part like so, and I want to just get this in first, and I want to see how well that goes in. Right, so yeah, do you know what, guys? So rather than fiddling around, it says to put the washers in. I accidentally found an easier way. Don't do the first step of stage 2. Go straight to the second and put that piece in like that. That's how it's going to go in. Once it's in, then put your washers. Look, it creates a tiny space between the two. Slide your washer in there, turn it over, pull it down, and in that space we'll pop the second washer. It says that, well, it doesn't say, but the washer has to be inserted from the inside. But look, that's so much easier, isn't it, guys? And then what we'll do is we'll pop our screwdriver in there. Just make sure that washer comes down enough. On this side, can you see that the washer is just a little bit too high up? So we'll just get our screwdriver and we'll just pull that down. And I think that's a much easier way to do it. Right, so holding that carefully, we need part D06, and that needs to go in. You can see you've got 2 screw holes there, so that's going to cover the 2 screw holes, and that's going to keep that in place and also create a stopper. Look, can you see a notch there? So we'll have movement, but not too much movement. And I haven't, as per my normal form, I don't have my screws ready, so that's bad of me. And I'm going to use the slightly smaller screwdriver head because I think that might be better. And that one's gone in just enough to bite. I haven't said that for a few videos, have I? And then this one can now go in all the way. It doesn't matter which order you do these screws in. I am slightly worrying about those washers because there's nothing really holding them in firmly. This side's not too bad because I've got it covered with my finger. And this one I'm kind of using gravity to hold it in. I hope we do something with it this issue. But the question is, now that's in place, can that washer actually fall out? I don't think it will actually. But there we go. So do we have a next stage? No, we don't. That is the end of this issue. So that is rather interesting. There's not a lot of movement there, is it? When you compare it to the index finger, there's not a lot of movement. But we haven't finished building this stage. And you know me, I quite often say, oh, well, that doesn't look that good. And then once we finish building, I'm like, wow, it's fantastic. So I'm not going to comment on it. But yeah, that I'm happy with, and I'm very happy that I've discovered that, like a cheap way of doing the washers. So yeah, that's the one thing I'm going to point out, guys. So on stage 2, it says pop the washers in, and then pop this piece into A16. Don't ignore it. Put this piece in first, then put the washers in, because then they've got nowhere to fall. Right, guys, so that is it for stage 29, index finger part 6. I will see you in the next video, which could be next week. So take care, guys. Bye bye.